This is September 9th, 2020, and it's also the 65th anniversary of Freda and my getting married. We're going to celebrate our 65th anniversary today. We had other plans, but they have changed. We were going out for breakfast at a new restaurant that Lisa knew of, and all I had to do is look out the door, and that changed our minds. And so there's no way I'm going to get out in this and try to load somebody in a car and move them into a restaurant and all that. It would be stoked. So breakfast was bought and brought in, and we're going to eat at home this morning. But to start with, I have a little present here for Freda. Okay, your 65th anniversary present.
Thank you, dear.
And I know what kind of candy you like, so it's pretty well standardized, but I did get you a card. Do you need some help there, hon? Let me help you a little.
Pull it out. Get hold of it.
Okay, there's a card.
Yep.
And I even wrote in it.
I loved you and you loved me back. And this led us to so many incredible moments and beautiful memories. And I love being in love with you. Happy anniversary. I'll love you for 65 more years, Jim.
Well, and I meant it.
Thank you.
So get ready to have me around for 65 more.
Good.
Now, you remember our 45th anniversary. We went to New England. And at the end of this video, I'll tell the story of our trip up there and some of our adventures that we had there on that trip.
Oh, many.
Right. So now we're going to break out breakfast. Well, here's my breakfast. It's an omelet and biscuits, and I have gravy to go over them. That sure beats McDonald's, all I can say. Take a bite of this omelet and see how it is. That is a good omelet. Got pepper in it and onions and cheese, and it's delicious. Where did you say you got this, Lisa?
Egg Haven.
Egg Haven. Well, it's good, that's all I can say. So I'm going to enjoy my breakfast now. Well, it was coming up on our 40th anniversary, and we were trying to figure out what to do or where to go, and so we decided, since we'd been in every state in the U.S. except the 5 up in the northeast corner up in the New England states, we'd just go up there and visit that. and didn't have anything in particular in mind, and so we picked the date of the week after Labor Day weekend, or week, and before the leaf peepers all gather to look at the leaves change colors. So our entire itinerary was fly to Boston, rent a car. We didn't have any reservations. We didn't have anything of any sort. And with it being on September 9th, our anniversary, it fell right in there with it. But anyway, we flew up there, got the car rental, and started driving, just headed north. And we drove around up there, looked at various things, and one of the places that I did want to see was the L.L. Bean store and their consignment, or their clearance store. And I found out they also had another one called the Return Store. And we went there, and I bought 2 shirts there. I bought this one and another red one that's a red heavy woolly one for cold weather. I bought those in the clearance in the Return Store. That's where anything that's sent back to them, all they do is just send it to that store, open it up, put it there with a real cheap price on it without inspecting or anything, and it's as is where it is, and you buy it and take your chances. But at any rate, it came our anniversary day. So along in the afternoon, we spotted a hotel and stopped there, and I told the lady it was our 45th anniversary, and asked her, was there a nice restaurant or something where we could go for dinner. So she said, I know the perfect place, and said, I'll make a reservation for you and take care of everything, and go ahead and check in. And we went to her room, and a few minutes later she called and says, okay, reservations are made, and the city trolley will pick you up at 7 o'clock. You don't even have to drive anywhere. And it turned out it was in the town of Bath, Maine, that they had a city trolley. It looked like the old-fashioned rail-type trolley, only it had rubber tires on it and an engine to run it. And they went around and picked up tourists and took them various places and delivered them back. But anyway, they took us to this restaurant down on the harbor there and dropped us off, and he says, I'll be by to pick you up in about 2.5 hours and take you back to your hotel. So I told them our name, and they said, okay, we've got your table right here. And we went in there, and it was a high-class restaurant. It wasn't any greasy spoon by any means, but they took us over there. This table had a tablecloth on it, and silverware, and flowers, and right next to a window opening out into the bay, and a beautiful view. And seated us there, and I looked around. There was a wine cooler sitting there with a bottle of wine in it and ice, and I thought, are we sure we're in the right place? And he came by, and I said, are you sure this is the Foreman reservation? He says, oh yes, Mr. Foreman. I said, well, bring us a menu, I'll have a look at it. And he says, well, you don't get a menu here. This is the chef's table. And I was well enough acquainted to know what the chef's table is. That's a single table that the chef, if they have some high-name chef or something, or he doesn't have to be high-name, just the chef sets up that he cooks for and serves individually special people. And I thought, this sounds like it's going to get after my wallet, but after all, we only have one 45th anniversary in a lifetime, so I'll go along with it. And they poured us some wine, and there's a little cheese plate there, and pretty soon they brought out our dinner, and it was sea scallops and lobster in a cream sauce of some sort, and that was the most delicious meal that I have ever had. And then came a little wine down, and finally ice cream. And when we went in, the place was probably half full, including a party that looked like maybe 15 or 20 people along a wall over there. It looked like it was a wedding party of some kind. And by the time we got through eating, it had kind of dwindled down to where there's only one or two other tables left except us. And I told the waiter to bring us a check, and he says, "It's already paid for." And said the wedding party over there, the father of the groom asked for your check, so as an omen that his son's wedding would last as long as yours. And I asked him for the name and address, and the party's name was Williams, but they didn't have an address on them, so I couldn't even send them a card to thank you. But I have no idea what that cost. Well, not only did we get that meal free, we worked the anniversary every day. We would go in someplace and tell them this is our 45th anniversary, and it usually got us a free dessert, or we didn't get a free meal anywhere, but we went in someplace. It was an Irish pub, and they seated us over right by the stage and introduced us and playing music for us. And the guy, the head of it, came over and said, "What's your favorite song?" And I thought, you know, Ireland is pretty well divided. They've got two different bunches of people there, and they don't really like each other. And I'm sure that each group has their own music that they like, and if I pick the wrong kind of music for this, might be an interesting day in here. So I just told him, I said, just play whatever your favorite is. And I was expecting something like Danny Moore or something like that. I don't remember what they played. But anyway, we milked that anniversary as far as we could. And another place that we like to go and find was little downtown restaurants, mom and pop types that's been there for years, and for breakfast. And we were having breakfast in such a place, and sitting right next to us was a table with 6 people around it, and they were having breakfast. And one of the guys there turned around and looked at me, and he says, "You folks aren't from around here, are you?" And I says, "No, we're from Oklahoma." And he said, "Well, if you're up here trying to find votes for George Bush, you're wasting your time." And I don't know how it came to me so quick. I'm usually not that sharp. And I said, "Yeah, we know we've got a 12-step program for people like you." And the other 5 people at that table just roared in laughter. And his wife says, "You just never learned when to shut up, did you?" But anyway, it was a great trip. And the only time we had a problem finding a room or anything was the last night before we were leaving. We came back to Boston area, and it turned out to be the start of college week, and every motel down there was full, and we had to turn around and drive back 30-40 miles before we could find someplace with a vacancy sign to spend the night. But that was only 20 years ago. And it's amazing the changes that have taken place in that 20 years. And one of them is in shopping malls. One of them is in shopping malls, the outlet malls. Tanger Factory Outlets was the big one, and they were building then, and people were standing in line to get space there, and they were going great guns, but they're all closed now and turned into parking lots and trashy places, and there's, I don't know of a single outlet mall here in Texas and Oklahoma that's still alive and kicking. Most of them have been either completely closed or torn down, or one of them they turned it into apartment buildings. But that's my story, and God bless America, God bless Texas, because where else would we find a sign like this? Bye.